So we're going to go through Sit-Up Tao now, and we're not going to really worry on level 1 about the terms yet. And the terms may all be found in the book Wing Chun Strategy and Tactics, Attack, Attack, Attack. So we're going to start off with Sit-Up Tao. We're just going to relax and stand up straight with your head as tall as you can, and then sinking down and lifting your hands at the same time. Grip your fists and come back, center line. Okay, open up your stance, and then sink down. Sink down by forcing in here, as opposed to thrusting up and sitting. You want to just kind of rest down. Then your hands are right below your breast level. Okay, you come down in front to Gan Sao. Pushing down and lifting up. Don't really straighten your arms. And then lift your arms up. Right when they hide your shoulders, you rotate to your sub-sao position. So you're going through Gan Sao to Zhang Sao to sub-sao. From sub-sao, retract, Sao Kun. Okay? And then put your position of your fist right below your navel. Punching out, Yachi Kun. You want your fist knuckle right in line with your nose. Center line position. Extension, Bill, Ta, Hun, Lop Sao, and Sao Kun. Right hand side, position, Yachi Kun, Bill, Ta, Hun, Lop, and Sao Kun. Now here we're going to ask you to focus on your breathing a little bit. And what we ask for in level 1 is 4-4-4 breathing. So what I want to do is breathe in, 4 seconds. Breathe out. Approximately 4 seconds. Hold. Just out, breathe in. 4 seconds. So now you come out Fu Sao, 4 seconds, breathe out. Hun Sao, hold for 4 seconds. Just Sao. Wu Sao, breathing in 4. Repeat. Fu. Hun. Jut, Wu, Fug, Hun, Jut, Wu. Fug, relaxing, Hun, Jut, breathe in. Pa Sao, shh, shh, Ta Sao, Hun Sao, Lop Sao, Sao Kun. Now repeating on your right side the same way, you want to do 4 seconds. Okay? Just out, pause, breathe in. Focus on your dantian, breathe out. Hun, Jut, breathe in. Not worried about speed here, just focusing on flow, breathing out. Hun Sao, just out, breathing in. Fu Sao, breathing out. Hun Sao, just out, breathe in. Pa Sao, center line. Dim Jern, Ta Sao, Hun Sao, Lop Sao, and Sao Kun. And then over your left leg, bring your feet together, and that completes section 1 of Sit-Up Tao. And so on this level, we're only asking for section 1, and really, speed is not important. Just take your time, do it slow, make sure you have relaxation. So the marching punches are part of our base of fire structure, but they're like just a phase one. What we want here is body alignment and structure in your punching so that you can emphasize body control and placement, and power will be natural when you learn to punch this way. So we're asking for kind of a repetitious exercise. He's going to hold the pan out. All I'm going to do is start from my square position, and I draw my fist, just like I'm drawing a pistol, and I come up and I step into the punch. That's one. I shift my body, place my hand, and 2. Shift my body, place my hand, 3. Shift my body, place my hand, 4. And so what we have is kind of a movement pattern that we, just like in the dummy footwork, I'm shifting my body and bringing the punch across. Similar to what you find in Chun, right? So I'm shifting my body and I'm bringing the punch across. Shifting my body and bringing the punch across. Shifting my body and bringing the punch across. And this kind of movement is found throughout the system of Wing Chun, in the forms and in the exercises. We want you to use striking pads so that you get familiarity with impact, and you could also do it in the air just like I described it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make one punch from the square position. I shift out over my right leg and draw my left leg in and snap the punch out as I land it. I want my elbow down, my shoulder down, and my body relaxed. I shift and throw the punch, just like that. Come back to this side, shift, throw the punch, just like that. Come back to this side, shift, throw the punch. Very simply, we call it a marching punch because you're doing it in time with your stepping. So you're learning to time your punch with your step. Okay, and like I said, this is just one part of later what will be called the base of fire punching. Okay, so we're going to discuss the trapping hands or fan sao of Wing Chun, and we're going to do this from what we call the training bridge. The training bridge is just when we've already agreed to make hand connection, whether we're standing squarely, or whether we're standing right side forward, or whether we're standing left side forward. It's called the training bridge. I find it necessary to talk briefly about what we call the 5 bridges, okay? So the training bridge is really only for training. You're not going to be in a fight and try to access this position. That's only for training. The active bridge is more along the lines, if I'm attacking him and he puts his hand in the way, that there's a little bit of shock to the core of his body, like you would see on the Wing Chun dummy. That's what we call the active bridge. So I'm moving in, I'm making contact, and then I give him a little bit of energy, not too much, but a little bit, and that's called the active bridge, okay? Then we have what we call the flying bridge, is when he's punching me, and I enter over top of his bridge. We call it the flying bridge because that bridge is in flight. It's actually moving towards me. And you could also utilize that bridge by going underneath the bridge. That's still the flying bridge. Then we have what we call the rear hand bridge or rear hand barrier. That might be used if he punched me and I move aside and then I attack him. That now is what we call rear hand barrier. And then I'm executing now the trapping from that rear hand barrier. Whatever energy I develop out of that, we'll discuss later. And then what we have, capturing the bridge, would be used mainly if he put his hands up and then I capture the bridge. And there are many ways to capture the bridge, but you can see once I insert my hand there, that now I'm in this position and I can execute the trapping of the different varieties from that bridge. So those are going to be the main bridges that are going to be used throughout the system. However, on this level, we're not asking you to do any of that yet. We just want you to practice from the training bridge. But it's important that you understand that is not how you fight. That's just training. So right now we're starting from the training bridge, and we're right side forward, and we're right bridge to right bridge. Okay, the first one in the equation is called pak da. So what I do is I execute the pak and da. Okay, he's not even going to stop me, he's just going to let me execute it. And I'm going to stop right at about 1 inch from his chin. And some people like to just touch the chest. And you can do it either way. However, remember, if you start touching your partner's chest a lot, he's going to want to touch yours. So now Doc will execute the same thing, and he pak da. And I just let him in. I don't do this. Don't ragdoll for your training partner. This will give him the bad habit of putting the hand down, and you see his posture is broken. He's leaning forward. So I want to have some resistance here as he pops, and I let him do it, but I make sure I keep him honest here. Okay, so when I enter pak da, he does the same thing for me. He just lets me in, but he's honest with his bridge. So I just trap and execute here. I don't want to reach. I want to keep my posture. That's why I just stop my fist. If I really wanted to hit him, I would move in more, and then I would have the ability to penetrate his body, right? So as he does the pak da, I just let him in. So I let him in. Boom. Okay, my hand is here in moose out position, but I'm not trying to stop him yet. I don't want him to get the wrong impression of what he's trying to do. He's trying to hit me. The objective of this exercise is to hit your partner. But for training, you just don't penetrate. You don't put pressure. So this is what we call pak da. So pak da is simply a paks out and a da, a hit. And the da here is the fist. So that's what we call pak da. So he does pak da, I let him. I do pak da, he lets me. He does pak da, I let him. I do pak da, he lets me. He does pak da, I let him. That's how I want you to practice and execute what we call pak da. That's stage 1 trapping. Okay, so here what we have is the second thing in the stage 1 trapping we call lap da. And this again is done from the training bridge, okay? Probably never going to happen like this, but my hand is in the way. So what's going to happen is he's going to pull the hand down, and he's going to punch across my elbow and strike. And the objective here is for him to lose a little bit of his structure, and I follow up and strike. Now I might plant that punch right in his neck, or I might plant it right in his jaw, right? So as he does it here from the training bridge, I just let him do it. But once again, as he does it, I don't just ragdoll, right? I make sure I give him a little bit of resistance so he can feel he wants to turn my body. He wants a connection to my forearm, my upper arm. So when I lap da, I pull, I turn, I'm bringing the hand down toward my waist. I'm following his arm to his head. I'm not reaching for his head. I'm following the arm up into the head. So later on we can utilize that. So he does the lap da. Bang, just like that. And then I do the lap da, okay? And we come back, and he does the lap da. And again, this will probably be done from more of an active bridge, or maybe even a secondary point of contact. So you should work it on both sides. So if we did the left side, it would look the same. He just lap da. I don't do anything on my side yet. And then as I do it, I just lap da. And he doesn't really respond to it. We're just letting each other practice that so you get the sense of the motion and how to utilize it. Okay, so again on the stage 1 trapping, we're just going to do what we call pak sa. The sa is the use of the edge of the hand to strike, right? So they call it the cutting hand, or cutting energy, or throat cutting hand, because it's usually aimed at the neck area. So again, from the training bridge, he's going to pak sa and sa sa. I'm not going to try to stop him. I want him making contact. So then it's my turn. I'm going to execute. I pak and sa. Right? So the sa sa, really just aiming right at the neck, And he's going to sauce out. Bang. I don't stop him. I sauce out. He doesn't stop me. He sauce out. I don't stop him. I sauce out. He doesn't stop me. I might put my hand here and shadow his hand if I'm really not sure my partner has control. But I know that Dr. Alfred can do it. So we don't have to worry. And we want to what? Learn to what? Make contact here. We don't want to learn to make contact here. This is commonly a bad habit in Wing Chun, that the sauce-out is done on the hand. So a lot of times we lose what we call intention. We don't want to lose intention. The intent is to strike the core of the opponent. Even though we're aiming at the neck, we want to focus on striking right to the core of the opponent, or through them. So as he pops out, I let him do it. Then he goes back, I pops out, and he lets me make contact. Okay, so this is what we call pox out. So the pox out is done with the cutting edge of the hand versus the popped out, which is with the fist. Okay, the last one on the stage 1 trapping, we're going to do lopsa, which like lop da, but again we're striking with the cutting edge of the hand. So when we start from the training bridge, I'm going to lops out. I just bring the energy down and sauce out right at the Adam's apple. Then he'll do it. He lops out and he strikes right at the Adam's apple, right? So as I lops out, I strike right at the Adam's apple. And you don't have to go fast here. And you want to generally be particularly careful when you're striking at your trained partner's neck. Okay? So right now, as he lops, you can see the motion. As I lop, you see how I end up going right over top of my own hand? And then my hand turns into the sauce-out as this extends. So all at once, he's just going to strike here. Okay? And all at once, bam, it looks like that. So my woo-sao turns into sauce-out. I really don't need to wind it up, right? So it's right here, I just sauce out. It's right here, he sauce out. Right here, sauce out. Right here, sauce out. Right here, sauce out. Right here, sauce out. So that's lops out, sauce out. Lops out, sauce out. Okay, on this one, all we're going to do is execute a side step. So what I'm doing here is when I facing directly the camera, okay, I just want to turn and move my body, just sidestep a little bit. So also I have just a sidestep like that. So what I'm doing is sliding my right foot in this position slightly back, turning my toe and letting that draw me offline. So I'm just moving offline like that. So I'm starting here and I'm just sliding and getting offline like that. So I just want to create central line. So as if the attacker is spearing me straight down the center, I shift off to the side. If the attacker is spearing me straight down the center, I shift off to the side. If I do it facing this way, if he's attacking me down the center, I shift off to the side. That creates, and I shift off to the side. This will allow me to punch, and this will allow me to counter over the bridge. This will allow me to do a lot of things, but I'm just going to shift my foot and slide it. So I have cleared center line, and I have gained a position at an angle, or we call it side step.